Hello and welcome everybody to another Rectify review, and today we are going to be taking a look at Mutant Year Zero. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is the latest game to come out from publisher Funcom. It's developed by the Bearded Ladies Consulting and is described as a tactical RPG set in the Mutant universe. The Mutant is a Swedish pen and paper RPG that started off in the 80s. It may not have the brand recognition of D&D or Warhammer, but it has had a long lifespan and numerous novels, spin-offs, and expansions over the years. In Mutant Year Zero, players spend their time exploring a post-apocalyptic wasteland as two mutants, Ducks and Boarmen. As you may have guessed, they are respectively an anthropomorphic duck and boar wearing post-apocalyptic gear. They operate out of the last known cradle of humanity, the Ark. They are stalkers, scavengers who travel outside the safety of the Ark to see what useful things they can bring back to their home above the wasteland. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden has a strong premise, and the narration that kicks off the adventure is appropriately muted.
Another day, another mission, risking our necks for the Ark. You know, I ask myself, Ducks, why are you out here?
Setting the table for the next 15 hours of tactical exploration the player will embark upon. The storyline is sparse, but consistent throughout. Outside of the hub area of the Ark, most of the story comes from banter between your party members as they discuss artifacts left behind by the Ancients, which are us. Things like boomboxes or telescopes. One of my favorite aspects of MYZ is your group's disdain for humans and how they live their lives. Most post-apocalyptic games are obsessed with humans and the amazing wonders they built. Ducks and Boarmen have a much more cynical and jaded appreciation of the humans that came before, and it's refreshing to hear them criticize us, the player, as we currently live. Overall, the story is satisfying, despite an ending that doesn't quite live up to its promise. If the voice acting was poorly written or acted, the sparse storytelling would fall apart, but instead I was eager to hear the parties converse about any number of topics. It was a pretty big motivation to keep going and explore deeper into the zone on the titular Road to Eden. As for the game itself, it is a nice and unique blend of open exploration, stealth, and a healthy dose of tactical turn-based combat. To say it's XCOM influence will be putting it lightly. There are similar cover mechanics, Overwatch, hit percentages, and even abilities, which work very much like they did in Enemy Unknown. That is, however, where the similarities start and end. Unlike XCOM or many other turn-based tactical games that have followed, you don't have an open-ended game with an endless array of randomly generated soldiers and missions. Instead, you move around the set map, then enter larger zones where your small, set cast of characters will walk around exploring for loot and stealthily picking off enemies. It provides a nice change of pace and is pretty decent for a gameplay loop. It is pretty straightforward, and that's not a big deal. Throughout the entire playtime, the gameplay won't really change that much. You will immediately be able to tell if it's your style or if it's not.
Enough! That was awesome.
The gameplay is also backed by a leveling and gear system. While offering a bit of diversity and options, they are about as lean as the core gameplay itself. Just enough to get your feet wet, but nothing that will have you taking out a DPS sheet and calculating numbers. This may have its root in pen and paper RPGs, but it's a pretty simplistic take on tactics, RPG mechanics, and gear. I didn't find it too big of an issue, as I completed the game at around the 16-hour mark. If it dragged on any longer, that simplicity could have grown very stale, but the game thankfully doesn't overstay its welcome. You have a clear goal, and your progression is nice and tight for the entire journey. Some battles near the end can drag as the enemy count constantly grows, despite your party limit remaining at 3 out of a total of 5 playable characters. That can be frustrating, but the AI in the larger battles can be exposed, as most battles near the end involved me standing on some high ground while allowing enemies to slowly maneuver into my optimal range so I could obliterate them one by one until the battle was over. The game also has a finite amount of medkits and resources to level up your weapons and heal yourself with. So if you blow them all very early on, the endgame can become very difficult. My advice to you is to save it till you really need it. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is not without its problems, but it's refreshing to see its take on the turn-based tactical RPG and its unique approach to the wasteland setting so many games rely on. It really did leave a strong impression. The Bearded Ladies delivers my surprise game of the year with the brisk tactical tale of mutants and the apocalyptic world left behind by man's hubris. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is a stellar debut from a promising studio, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for us in the future. I give it an 8.0. If you guys enjoy my review, please check out the written one at rectifiedgaming.com, and you can pick it up on Game Pass on the Xbox or on Steam. I played both versions and they both run fantastic. My name is Namtox. Thank you guys so much. This is my last review for 2018. Coming up next is the Game of the Year list. I can't wait to put that together, and I'll see all of you next time.
I look weird to you, but hey, you look weird to me. So let's leave it at that. If the Stalkers come back from the zone alive, the Ark survives another day. If the Stalkers don't come back, the legacy of mankind will be lost forever. At least, that's what the Elder says.